Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's talk about key changes. A key is a collection of notes and chords. Now, the notes in a key come from a scale that begins on what we call the tonic. Now, the chords in a key begin with the first chord, which has a root note that is the same note as the tonic, so we call it the tonic chord. A chord progression can change chords, but there's a feeling of home when we come back to that tonic chord, so we call it the tonal center. Now, the tonal center is not always obvious, and sometimes there's ambiguity regarding what key we're actually in. Also note that we use the words key change and modulation interchangeably. Let's look at the different types of key change we can have, or modulations. A relative key change is when we change from a major key to its relative minor key. For example, we could change from the key of C to the key of A minor, like this. Direct modulation is when we directly change from one key to the other, almost as if there's no relationship between those keys. It's often used in pop music to take the second to last chorus and give it a lift by going up a key, maybe up a semitone or a tone. For example, I could go from the key of C and then shift to the key of C sharp, like this. Pivot modulation is where we pivot from one key to another via a chord that's shared by both keys. So for example, I could change from the key of C to the key of F simply by pivoting around a C chord, which is common to both of those keys. For example, like this. Here we go, key of F. Back to the key of C. At the end there, notice I pivoted from the F chord, which belongs to both keys, back to the key of C. I went F, G, C. A modal interchange is where we borrow chords from a parallel scale. So a common example of this is where we change the 4 chord in a major key, which is normally a major chord, to a minor chord. So for example, in the key of C, the 4 chord will be F. We can borrow the F minor from the C natural minor scale. You get this kind of sound. A good example of that is in the song In My Life by the Beatles. There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed. There it was, the D to D minor and back to the 1 chord. Notice how smooth that sounds, partly because we've got this chromatic run hiding in the chords. Learn to recognise that change, because that's a very common modal interchange, changing the 4 chord from a major chord to a minor chord. Let's imagine we've got a chord progression that goes C, F, F minor, C. We've got a modal interchange there. We've replaced the 4 chord, the F, with an F minor. What do we do if we're soloing over that F minor? Well, we play the key of C most of the time until we get to the F minor, and then we play C natural minor. Technically it's called F Dorian in this case because we're playing a mode of natural minor. Let's see what that sounds like. Here's the C major scale. A parallel key change is just like a modal interchange, but instead of borrowing chords and never really feeling like we've left the key, with a parallel key change, we do leave the key. We go from, say, A minor to A major. For example, in the song While My Guitar Gently Weeps by the Beatles, where we change from A minor in the verse to A in the chorus, like this. Key of A minor, and suddenly key of A. Now what about a minor 5-1? By minor 5-1 chord progression, I mean when you take the 5th chord in a minor key and then resolve to the 1 chord. So for example, E minor to A minor. However, that doesn't sound very resolved. I mentioned in the previous video, we tend to replace that minor chord with a major triad or a dominant 7 chord. So E7 to A minor. Now, to be honest, instead of calling this, say, a modal interchange, we tend to just explain it as a common chord substitution that simply makes a progression resolve better. So, for example, Fur Release by Beethoven goes from E back to A minor. There's that minor 5-1. Now, you could do this in our relative major key. If I was in the key of C, I can actually borrow that E chord again. So, for example, how could we improvise over a minor 5-1? Well, let's say we've got E to A minor. That E chord is only changing one note from my natural minor scale. It's changed this note here to this note, a G to a G sharp. If I look at my natural minor scale, there's a G. If I sharpen it, make it a major 7, we get this, which is called A harmonic minor. Technically, when I'm playing the E7 chord, and I play that scale, I'm actually playing the 5th mode of A harmonic minor, which is called Phrygian dominant or Spanish Phrygian. Let's see what that sounds like. Here's A natural minor first of all, and then A harmonic minor or Phrygian dominant. I'm going to give you a cheat to help you play over a minor 5-1. Now, first of all, you need to be able to hear that minor 5-1 has happened. So whenever you hear this sudden chord that doesn't belong in a key, but it's got that classical vibe to it, you know that you can either play harmonic minor or you can simply take a pentatonic scale and change all of the minor 7ths and sharpen them and make them major 7ths. So you get this. For example, here we go, pentatonic scale. There's that extra note. As always, thanks for watching. I hope that was useful to you. If so, please hit like and subscribe. See you soon.